open it up, there's a black screen and it comes out and says, it's whole disk encryption, what is your password? And you type it in, and that boots it up. That's a lot of protection technically, and it's also a lot of protection legally. Because in the United States, if a computer is stolen or lost and it contains like personally identifiable information, sensitive information, and if you can prove that it has whole disk encryption, under many state laws, you're immune from any liability. So that's one thing I would say. The second thing that I would say as users is if you were using browser-based email, like Gmail or Yahoo or anything like that, it's fine, but use two-factor authentication. It is a huge protection. Two-factor authentication, and just so people understand, means that in order to authenticate to your mailbox, that means for the system to recognize you and say you can use it, means that there have to be two elements that you have to present to the server in order for that server to authenticate and recognize you. It has to be something you know, something you have, or something you are. Two of those three things. Something you know is your password, username and password. Username and password is not two-factor, it's one factor. The second thing is if it's something you are, that's biometric recognition. So if you had like a thumb scanner, that's the second factor. More typically though, it has to do with a one-time number that you were assigned at the point when you are trying to authenticate. So it can either be on a token, or they can send it to you on your iPhone or whatever personal device. And what they're trying to do is say, you're trying to log into this email account. Give me some more proof that it's really you. And so if you use that second factor, and you can sign up for this for free. They don't even charge, Gmail doesn't charge for this. But that second factor takes your vulnerability and reduces it tremendously from somebody getting in and reading your email. And I would say that is so many of the compromises and problems and things and tricks that we see are because adversaries get into your Gmail account, read about your lifestyle, understand things, go to LinkedIn, look at Facebook, and you'd be amazed what a thoughtful adversary can do to trick you. So don't make it easy. Use two-factor authentication on email. I would say those are the two most basic things. The third thing is probably if you have very sensitive content. So let's say some reporters, for example, might have informants or you have information that you can't afford to let other people see. When you are on wireless networks that you don't own, use a VPN, a virtual private network. They're free. You can Google what it is, a VPN, and it helps to create an encrypted tunnel of your traffic between your computer and where you're going. You can still be vulnerable. It doesn't get rid of it. And there are things we can talk about that are beyond the scope of this discussion. But you've so reduced your vulnerability by doing those three things, if you're not already doing it, that for no money at all, you've really reduced the attack surface that you present to an adversary and your vulnerability and the impact it would have.